So Aaron brought up this idea of actually, Aaron, I'll just let you explain it. Go ahead, ask the question. We'll talk about it.
I don't know if I want it to be really that I brought it up because it's not something I think about very often.
You did bring it up though.
But what are we talking about? Like these included, like we kind of like the last episode, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. We were talking about community, and we were mostly talking about all relation to men, right? And so then I kind of brought up like how do females play into that?
Yeah.
So as Christians, as men, we have a married guy, a guy in a relationship. I don't know.
Yes.
Yes, a guy in a
relationship,
and a single guy. How do we relate to women in social and friend groups, right?
Yeah. Or a buzz question would be, can guys and girls be friends?
Yeah.
You can throw a just in it. Can guys and girls be just friends?
Oof. I think that's right off the bat. Define the terms.
Define it.
What is friends? What is a friend? What does a friend mean? Like there's I have a lot of people that are my friends, and they're like have totally different access codes into my life. They're not all in the same circle for sure. So friends as acquaintances, I'm friends with lots of girls, friends that I say hi to.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Might give a side hug to, which that's a point right there. Keep it to side hugs.
Will you ever hang one-on-one with a girl and not call it a date?
At the point I'm in my life right now, it would be very, very rare circumstances. Like I would just want to say no.
Yeah.
The only time I allow for something like that to maybe happen now in these days is like if a friend that moved out of state is in town and they're like, hey, you want to get lunch real quick? And it's not my first choice, but they're only in town for like a half a day or something, or they like I'll do that every now and then. But I'm even getting to a place in my life where we've talked about this a lot recently, where I'm trying to live like see my life like I'm already married.
Yeah.
Like I think it covers a multitude of sins, and so if I was already married, would I be going out to lunch with another girl alone? No. So
it's good.
I mean, there's a couple girls that I've known for 15 years, 20 years that are like a sister. I might do the lunch thing with some of them, but I've been contemplating even to that where how necessary is that sometimes, you know?
Yeah. Even just a perception, like where someone might, run into you guys having lunch and it's like, oh, that looks like they're on a date kind of thing. And then that's how rumors start. And then that's how people get weird.
And I think like with me too is that's another term is what's a date? Like, I think sometimes I treat something, or I would tend to refer to something as a date or non-date, depending on who I'm sitting across from. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, no, because that person's just totally a friend of mine, so it's not a date. But in reality, if I was having the same meal with someone else, it could be a date. Yeah. And someone checked me on that the other day recently, where they're like, "What do two girls going to get coffee? Oh, we had a coffee date." So really.
Yeah, I think, is that a generational thing? Because when I think of date, I automatically think it's like already past the courtship. So they're going on a date. Okay. But then some people say dating is like equal to like sex. Like they're having sex or like they're hooking up or whatever. So
all these terms have so many different.
Yeah. Wait. They're equal. Dating. People think that dating is the equal to having sex.
Well, if you look at
I should say.
If you look in the terms of the world, if someone says they're dating somebody, yeah, they're probably sleeping together for sure. Yeah. So that's the world's term. Okay. Or like a lot of times people, they meet up for the first time. And I think in this age of dating apps too, they meet up for the first time. They're seeing it as a date. Like, we met on a dating app. And now me personally, I've never gone on a dating app date. So I just want to put that out there. But
just kidding.
I think I'm trying to like let that word date encompass more things so I can be more honest with myself. Like, but that is a hard thing too. I think some people, like as a Christian, I treat that subject very seriously in the sense. So I wouldn't go on a whole bunch of dates with a whole bunch of different people. And then I know there's other people that treat it the same way. Like they're going to be very serious about who they date and who they're going to marry. So they won't go on dates. So then you're like, oh, well, let's not make it so heavy. You want to hang out. And then that's problematic as well. But how are you ever going to get to know anybody?
Right.
It's true.
So going back to the question, at least on my end of saying, can a guy and a girl be friends? I would say a hard no before today, but now that we put some context behind it or on it or with it or whatever, I need another prime drink.
Do you want me to get you another? You got one. You're still working on the blue one.
And what do we mean?
This was from like a week ago.
No.
And it is interesting. Like, can they be friends? Like,
so I would say
can
no.
they be friends?
What kind of?
Like, there has to be. Can there be friends without?
Right.
X?
I think why? Like, what kind of friend? Like, as a married man, obviously, I'm married, so like, would I obviously I would not go out single with any other girl. I have no reason to. In fact, I don't. Aside from our friends that are in, the girls that are in, like, around our friend group, like, yeah, and like, I'll talk to them, I'll text them, but it's usually around subject matter that has to do with, say, the community, whether it be like a secret birthday party or, hey, were you checking in on so-and-so because whatever. Yeah. But I personally don't think, at least on the fullest term of friend, I really don't think a guy and a girl can be friends because, like,
without what?
Women,
without someone liking the other person?
Yeah, I say women are really wired to reciprocate or even react to certain types of kindness, no matter how much they try to act like, oh no, that's just my friend, but oh my god, he's like, but sweet. He opens the door for me. He's like my dude that I come to talk about my problems, this and that. It's like, but now you're moving into boyfriends.
Let's be honest though, like, how many men are like that too? Oh, she touched my arm, like, right. Oh, she must like me, and like, I think the thing at the level of friends is I have a lot of females that are friends on the acquaintance level, and I might have their phone number because we interact in certain social settings, so we might be in a group text. But I'm at a point in my life where I'm not going to meet someone and try to get their phone number or ask them for their phone number to just be friends either.
Right.
Wait, did I?
Well, it's kind of jacked up.
I want to recant that statement?
Yeah.
I don't know if I said that the right way.
Yeah, just cut it. Cut that out.
I think you said it fine.
I think it's kind of unfair, too, because, like, let's just say, I don't know, say in the church sense or the Christian sense. I don't want to get myself in trouble on this one, but
get in trouble.
Sometimes when it comes to the guy-girl relationship, there is that unsaid, well, look at him or look at her, like, they ain't going to go.
What are you saying?
We know.
Like, you're talking about like that. We know they're in the friend zone for sure.
Yeah, they're in the friend zone. He don't like her, or she don't like him, and that's kind of jacked up. But it's kind of a double standard on both ends. So I don't know. I mean, I just off the front, I would just say I still don't think guys and girls should be close friends. They could be friendly because what happens?
Be friendly, but I don't think they should be going to lunch together. As just friends.
Yeah, I know married couples or new married couples that have best friends that are of the opposite sex. Uh-huh. So for me, it doesn't register because I'm like, what? So what happens to this best friend relationship after we're married and we have kids? Like, what does that even mean to have a best friend that's a dude?
People need to be willing to, like, not try to have their cake and eat it too. It's like, if your marriage partner is your level 10 best friend, like, there's obviously physical ways that your previous best friend of the opposite sex isn't on the same level. Like, I would sacrifice my level 7 best friend for a level 10 best friend wife any day. Her needs need to come first. And so if I have a friend that we only see in groups together every couple months, oh, well, so be it. Like, I don't know if that sounds harsh, but...
Yeah, no, you're right, because I was just talking to my wife about the girl that actually introduced us. We were best friends.
Yeah.
Or we were friends from high school, everything. But the minute I got with my wife, like, I was nowhere to be found. Like, my priority became my wife, and she didn't understand that at first.
So how did the rules change for, like, different people in different stages, whether you're in a dating relationship, you're completely single, or you're married. Are the rules the same? I think Aaron, you touched on it where it's like I should be acting like this as if I'm married as far as female relationships. What does that look like for you guys? What do you think? Should the rules be slightly different?
Yeah.
I noticed something to myself in the last year that I kind of started doing. Well, now I've been off of social media for a little bit, but I realized I didn't like having access to know a girl more than I would by getting to know her naturally. And what I mean by that is, like, say on Instagram, I could scroll through someone's, like, if they've been on Instagram 10 years,
Yeah.
you could have access to 10 years of their life, all their birthdays, seeing them on vacations, all types of different situations that you would never ask them right off the bat in person. And I felt like it's a weird thing in the time in history where we are, where you can have, like, you can almost get a whole picture of somebody from looking at their social media, where a lot of people would never have the guts to ask someone all those questions, or you would have to talk 27 times before you figured all that stuff out. So I think that idea of friendship too, how we talk about friends is like I said, it's new territory. We don't know how it's going to end. It's never been like this throughout human history, though. Like, you've never had access to someone's life like the way you do from social media. So I found myself not wanting to necessarily be friends with every person online, because I actually wanted to get them to know them in a real sense, not just on
not just their highlights.
Yeah, and whatever the foot they put forward is. And so on the rules thing, is that what you said last? Like,
What are are there different rules for different people in different stages of their life, whether they're completely single or in a dating relationship or married?
I think it's funny because I'm not even married, and I think a lot of married couples frustrate me. Where I think a lot of people, like, aren't honest with themselves, and we were talking about this at Men's the other day. Like, it's bad enough to lie, but the worst person on the planet you can lie to is yourself. I think a lot of times with this friendship stuff, if we're really honest with ourselves, like, God's written in our hearts, we know what's wrong and what's right, and we know what kind of feelings we're getting from the other person. Are we getting our ego stroked? Like, are they looking at us with like deer eyes and like, oh, we're just friends? But if we're really honest with ourselves, we know that we're getting something more than just a friend, and like emotionally or psychologically from it. And I think being really honest with ourselves, I think it is different too. There's some people where I can have a 15, 20 minute conversation with them outside of church, and it's fine. And I think it's completely safe and healthy. And there's someone else where if we're having that kind of conversation, it could be leading to like more feelings, or they think it's something more than it is. And so I think as men, we're supposed to be the leaders as well. I think really a lot of that responsibility lies on us too, is to be like Pastor Rodney was saying earlier, like socially, like aware of ourselves, and aware of who we're talking to. And I mean, there's responsibility that lies on the women as well, for sure. Like, I
mean, I'll cut in here. I think from a single standpoint, it all boils down to motives. And I think that's where a lot of singles, as Aaron was saying, you have to be honest with yourself. There's women that are vice versa. There's women that are just really just friends, but then there's guys that have these motives like, oh yeah, we're friends, but they'll do things to kind of like try to like woo them or try to impress them, and then get them unlocked, right? Get the ladies unlocked, or whatever, or impassioned. And then all of a sudden they pull back. Like, well, oh no! Like, where's the real?
Sound just like a male.
But no, I know
it goes both ways.
And it does go both ways. Sorry. But with women, I mean, as a married person, like, can guys be friends with girls? I'll just speak for myself. Like, I keep things very like, how can I say this? My wife is my number one priority, and it's all about purpose. It's like there's intentionality or motives with singles, but it's purpose. Like, what would be the purpose of me talking to this woman? Yeah. Like, what would, like, my wife would be like, why are you even talking to her? It's like, I have no idea.
And your wife, wife though, isn't unrealistically jealous or anything.
No, she is not jealous.
She's like
at
one
all.
of the almost open people, and I think your guys' relationships has been a beautiful example to a lot of people. Like when we all hang out in groups, I can truly say your wife is my friend.
Yeah,
and that she's like a sister to me. But it's not like me and her go to lunch together.
Right,
I'm not
right.
like calling her or texting her for no reason.
Right. It's a
either,
matter of
so-
respect. It's a matter of respect too. It's like I respect her, and I want to honor her. So yeah, I mean, that's all I can say as far as like a married man being friends with girls. It's like if there's really no true purpose behind it, then there's no business in being a friend with her.
So it sounds like you guys, and I would say I lean more towards where you guys are coming from too, are saying generally no, guys and girls shouldn't be close friends where they're hanging out even one-on-one. So how does guy or girl, how does one see if there's even any interest in someone without calling it a date? Because I feel like once you call it a date, or once you do that one-on-one interaction, that's when things can get weird. What does that look like? How do people do that? Is it just like hanging out with friends only, and
group
trying to choreograph that, where it's like, all right, let's hang out, but I need to get also this person hang out and this person hang out.
Bro, yeah.
Yeah, we tried that all.
That's so much to choreograph sometimes. You'd be like an opera, like a symphony conductor trying to work out 10 people's schedules.
Right.
I think something I've been trying to think of and apply to my life, and I think people aren't honest enough. I think like a marriage probably should usually start from some form of attraction.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like this. I'm not going to say guys and girls can't be friends, but I wouldn't pursue a friendship where you wouldn't be happy if you fell in love with the person. Like, or if you ended up being together. Like, I'm kind of like, oh man, I feel like I'm putting myself out there saying,
Put it out there, brother.
Do it.
But like, I don't think at this point in my life, I'm going to pursue a friendship with a woman necessarily that I don't think is attractive. Because what if we do end up loving each other? If like, whatever, like that is the person. So,
And like, dang, dude, she's not that hot. Just kidding.
hey, you can say it, you're the host, you know. But I think that's kind of and I think that like we could say like she's not that hot, but a lot of women too, and I think a lot of women actually hurt a lot more men's feelings in this aspect,
Sure,
than men do to women, because guys are so goal orientated that a lot of time guys don't waste time having girlfriends if they're not interested in them. Where guys are like, well, why would I talk to her? Like, I'm not attracted to her. And it's very cut and dry for a lot of men, where with women, I think a lot more women are fine having 5 guy friends around them that they're not attracted to at all.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of responsibility that women need to be self-aware too, that they are hurting a lot of guys' feelings, and they're fine with being friends a lot of times with guys that, and I mean by friends like, hey, let's get coffee. Oh, we went on a friend date. And I'm like, what the, like a friend date? I don't know. Anyways, like,
guys getting led on.
and it sucks. And I've seen it a lot.
Do you think
And
Christian girls lead Christian men on?
Yeah, but
Heck
it's
yeah.
like vice versa. It works both ways.
Yeah.
But I do feel.
I think there's a natural lean though, more from the women's side than the men's, because men being so goal orientated, where women are a lot of times more relational orientated. They like the relationship. They're okay a lot of times more with relationships that don't have to have an end goal. Well, men a lot of times are more like, well, what's the point of this relationship? And so I think that there is that tendency for women to have guys, I guess, in this quote unquote friend zone more, where the guys don't really want to be there, just because of naturally how men and women relate more. And I think girls do need to be careful about that. I've come across people lately where in certain circles, the Christians, that they're like, oh yeah, this girl invited me out to coffee or out to breakfast, but really after the guy hangs out there, she really doesn't have any interest in him at all. It was just like, oh, I just thought we'd be friends. And I don't know.
See, like that, I feel like, nah, that girl had interest probably, and then they had the date, and then she's not interested anymore. But she didn't call it a date because she wanted to play it safe.
Yeah, like she had a disclaimer, like, oh, we were just hanging out.
She has that out because she calls it a hangout instead of a date.
Right. I don't think two like strangers that meet at church or wherever wouldn't spend that type of time if there was not like some type of interest.
Yeah, I don't. Right? That's what I'm saying. You shouldn't invest the time. Yeah. If you would be mad if you guys ended up liking each other. Is that like a way to say it? I don't know.
And it's just, I guess it just goes back down to like being honest with it and communicating from the front. I don't know how people do that nowadays.
This is another thing where I'm going to go back to the history of our culture too. What's way different is, I think throughout history, just in daily life, people knew each other already. Like if we grew up in a small village of 100 to 200 people, like, and you were the farmer's son, and this girl over here was the blacksmith's daughter. The farmer's son would go pick up horseshoes from the blacksmith's daughter. So he would see her. They've probably been seeing each other since they were little kids. They kind of know each other's character by the time they get of marriage age in their 20s or whatever. The leather tanning guy, his daughter kind of knows the blacksmith son, whatever the point is. But I think that's something we're really missing from the world right now. And I think the church has a better glimpse of it than the outside world, because we are living within a community where most people outside the church, I don't think, have that sense of community. But there's a natural getting to know people that we're missing out on nowadays. Where if you lived in a small village, there might only be 5 to 10 women within your age range. And so you kind of knew all of them. So you didn't need to go out on all these dates. You knew their family already. You knew their character. Right. You knew their work ethic. You knew how their modesty levels. Where now it's like a necessary evil to some degree of our culture now is you might have to kind of go on dates. Like, especially like if you're trying to date someone from 2 different churches, just scheduling wise, that's like a situation that didn't exist throughout
I just don't know why dating somebody is not like, it's almost like a taboo thing now.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Or it's like already has like a negative
like, what's the problem with going on a couple dates with someone?
Yeah, I had no problem. Like, as a single person, I had no problem, like, just saying, like, hey, let's go get...
Like, as a Christian single, you mean?
Yeah, let's get... Well, I made some mistakes, but, like, at least going to have coffee or something or whatever.
Like, we make such a big deal of it now, almost like...
But, like, most oftentimes than not, you end up romantically involved. So, there was something I was going to say, like, it's about boundaries, too. And the boundaries come from
talk on the boundaries
within.
Yeah.
Like again, it's a character issue, say from a man or a woman. Like, our boundaries start from within, from our heart, you know, just like how, I don't know, Daniel purposed it in his heart that he's not going to eat the king's meat. Like, there was a boundary that he's not going to cross. Like, our heart governs, like, how far we're going to go personally or spiritually or mentally or, you know, emotionally. Like, and so I think we're always going to go into this struggle with, like, guys and girls if we don't, like, first deal with what's in our heart about the matter. Like, say, like, if a girl, let's just say a woman, like, is super lonely and whatever, you know, agrees to go on a date, but if she's not dealing with the loneliness within, from, like, even our other podcasts of saying, like, I'm not lonely because we have to understand,
like, she's going on the date just to deal with her loneliness,
right? Like,
instead
God
of the actual person
like,
on the other side of the table.
Yeah, to inject God in this conversation. Like, God is the only one that could fill us 100%.
True.
Yeah.
Right. So when we come from that place, we should be okay, like, saying, like, no, I'm just trying to get to know this person and be upfront about it.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, but I think nowadays what I observe, because I don't live in this world for 25 years of, like, single stuff, a lot's changed because of social media, because of posting, because of just trying to, like, create this persona of ourselves. We already approach each other with that.
Yeah,
they're trying to impress.
There's all this context, like,
there's, like, ulterior motives and, like, protecting ourselves. And it's like, when I was first with my wife, we were just friends.
Yeah,
you know, just friends.
And when you mean friends, though, you guys
friends.
would do stuff with groups or with just each other?
No, we just had each other, and we were friends. I was totally just all about God, and we were just friends. I didn't know until, like, I went to Bible school or school of mystery that it was inappropriate, because I actually worked, believe it or not, in a lot of corporate settings. So everyone was going to lunch with each other. It was no big deal.
Yeah, so your boundaries have changed over the years from the time that you were single/dating to now.
But it went back down to the motives. Like, I was so, like,
I get that.
In love with God and Holy Spirit, all that good stuff.
When I was in high school, it was the same thing. Whereas, like, I would hang out with girls one-on-one all the time, and they would just be friends, and my motives were pure. You know?
Yeah.
Dang, that's not how it was for me. But
I didn't, you know, and a lot, you know, so it all depends on the motives. I feel bad for this generation nowadays, and I really hope they kind of get a handle on it, because I just feel like, like I said earlier, is like everyone's scared, so they function from fear. Like, I'm not going to show you who I really am, or I'm not going to be honest with you, you know, and it's like because of fear.
Yeah.
And we got to like not come from a place of fear when it's just, you know, just trying to get to know somebody and just trying to be honest. Like, hey, like, you know, I'm just really trying to get to know you. Because I'm scared you might run off if I just say I'm just trying to get to know you. So what do I do?
Right.
I'm going to rip my clothes off and like, I'm just kidding.
Ayo.
Strike.
I think what's so cool about this whole subject, though, and I'm like actually grinning about it, is like the power of that, like the relationship possibilities between men and women is so insane. Like, okay, so God created, right?
Yeah.
He's endowed us with the ability to make another organism. Like,
That's crazy.
He like gave us the ability to be creators.
Yeah.
And we kind of have control. Well, we do have control over it. So
We do.
It's amazing. Like, science can't recreate it. Like, it's an amazing cosmic, like, it's crazy. Like, should it be hard to talk about to some degree? Yes, because humans have been struggling about what this means and how we relate to each other, men and women, for thousands of years, and we still don't know all the right answers. And I think there's hard moral lines that we need to take. Like, I'm not going to sleep with someone before marriage. I'm almost to the place I don't even think I'm going to kiss anyone before I get married.
Dang, it's going to kiss. He was out make out like a week ago, but now he's all the way to kiss. That's crazy.
But like, so there's certain hard lines like where there's clearly defined sin in the Bible.
Yes.
And I understand that. But I think things are different for people. My dad met my mom. This is back in the days when people wrote letters. They only saw each other 3 times before he proposed to her. And they've been married like over 40 years.
That's crazy.
And so right now, in our modern times, I think if you told that to a pastor or your other friend from church, I'm going to propose to this girl after seeing her 3 times, everyone would be like, bro, no, this is like, they would put hard, like pump your brakes really hard, but that could be okay sometimes. And I'm not condoning just meeting someone and asking to marry you after 3 times, but we can't clearly define what is right and wrong. Besides what's clearly stated, like I said earlier, certain moral things we all know.
Yeah.
But how the situation looks and how that love story or that romance progresses, I don't think we can define it for everybody.
You can't define the right or wrong because we base our right and wrong off biblical values, and there is no direct biblical statements about dating because people just got married.
Yeah, a lot of us are arranged marriages, and we are in a different situation.
But there's biblical wisdom as how we are to be towards.
Well, we all know we're supposed to be equally yoked. How do you know exactly if you're equally yoked unless you know the person either? So it does come with time, or sometimes just asking people really hard questions right off the bat. But I think we need to be careful and gracious too, that everyone's story might not look like ours. Like some people I know, they've been dating for 6 years before they get married. To me, I feel like for me personally, that'd be a little bit unnecessary. Maybe that's at the point I'm in my life now, but
6 years is a long time.
Yeah, you know who we're talking to. But I don't know. I think I have some grace as long as the people aren't living in sin, that it doesn't have to look the same for everybody. And some people their stories could be different, and it could be okay. Some people, like Rodney was saying, they might be fine getting coffee with different people often, and it's okay. They hang out once, they get coffee, they realize there's no spark. It wasn't a big deal. Yeah. Where some other people, that might be too much attachment for them. And like we said earlier, it's all about being honest with yourself and knowing your motives.
Yeah, that's good. I think we'll stop the conversation there, and then what this is really wanting me to do is actually not just pause the conversation, actually not stop it, and get some like actual females and get their perspective on this subject, because I think they could offer something a different perspective than we have. So
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.